if you are putting yourself into these situations with men that you know aren't showing positive traits, they're showing red flags, they're showing toxic traits,
they're showing they can't be dependable.
And yo.
Hey.
Ron. You know, that was the plan.
Hey, Ron. What's up?
Good morning, good evening. What's up, y'all?
Hello, coworkers. Welcome back.
I feel like he got a little bit extra buttons back there. He's been pressing more buttons lately.
Yeah.
I like that.
We like that. But welcome back, guys, to another episode of the We Outside AfterWork podcast. I am Dana.
And I'm Aaron. How y'all doing, y'all?
How y'all feeling? Are my headphones crooked?
I don't know, but I was listening to see how they felt just in case they responded to us.
Whatever.
But one thing I can tell them to do is, in the meantime, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff.
Subscribe.
Make sure y'all come through.
If you watching our shit, subscribe.
First 2 minutes, thing.
I'm sorry. If you watching our stuff.
It's okay. We're working on it. But usually when we have a nice solo dolo episode, we like to check in with one another. You know, we want to let each other know what we've been up to, how we feeling. Mm-hmm. So, do you mind if I go first?
You go first. I'm gonna go first, actually. Right. So I'm gonna do a little check-in. I've still been studying and being successful with my trading endeavors, so I'm pretty happy and excited about that. I'm about to take out these braids because it's been about a month. Wow. That's shade.
What happened?
The yay, because I said I'm taking out my braids.
Oh, I thought you heard me.
No, but it's been about a month. You can actually keep these in for about 2 months. But once I start seeing new growth, I'm like, all right,
new growth.
Let me take these out. And because this is a different color than my hair, because it's black, it's like you could see it really bad out of this ponytail.
So when you take the I don't know what that's called, a swoosh.
My little swoosh thing.
Yeah, you got like a fro under there.
It's not a fro, but like some of them you can see like my real hair starting to peek out of the braids.
Okay. Yeah,
so
we don't want the Meek Mill braids to be.
No, I'm not a Meek Mill braid kind of girl, so I'm gonna take these out soon.
The crazy thing is you don't look like a Meek Mill braid kind of girl.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. You don't look like you got straight backs. Have you ever had straight backs?
Yeah. Whenever I wear my other wigs, like my headband wigs, I got straight backs underneath.
I gotta see Dana in straight backs.
No one sees it because my shit is in a protective style.
Nay, I get you. But continue. My bad.
That's my check-in.
That's all? Just taking them braids out and day trading?
Yes.
All right. Well, for me, I told Dana, like, I've been a lot more family oriented lately. So,
we love that.
Yeah,
very wholesome dad life.
And we went to the New Jersey Hot Air Balloon Festival yesterday. And when I tell you, I wasn't expecting a lot from it. I was just expecting like, it's balloons in the air.
So what's the purpose? Just to see the hot air balloons, or they do like different?
It's like a carnival. They got all the little.
They got rides.
They got food. They got different little tents set up for like different companies. Like New Jersey Lottery was big there. I think they sponsored it. Speaking
of the lottery, go get your Mega Millions tickets because it's at $1 billion. I got mine yesterday.
Yeah, I don't believe in luck, so God just bless me. You feel me?
Did you get tickets?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a ticket though.
All right.
I got a couple dollars in the car.
Okay, but back to your check-in at the Hot Air Balloon Fest.
But yeah, it was just like beautiful. Like it was at this airport in Reddington, New Jersey. I don't even know where the fuck that is.
Me neither.
And they like laid it all out, and they had all the balloons set up, and they had people in like lawn chairs and all this kind of stuff waiting for the balloons to go off at like 6:30 at night. The craziest part is the balloons weren't about to go up because they had to go up at a certain wind. So when we got there, it was at like 8 knots or something. I don't even know what the fuck a wind term is.
It sounded like you know what you're talking about.
Because they was talking about it over the announcements. They was announcing it. Because, people was over there upset. Like, I came all the way. People came from Florida just to come see this.
Yeah.
So they like, I'm upset if the balloons don't go up. So I'm like, I really don't care.
But you live close. If I came from a different state to see something spectacular. But you didn't come from Florida. Like, you didn't take a flight to it.
No, but it really was spectacular, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like,
you got pictures?
I don't have pictures in my phone. Nashima has them in her phone. I'm going to post them. She's going to try to do some CapCut. We working on her editing.
Okay.
Because, I'll be slow with the edits.
If you have her or if you could send me them, I can add them to this video so people could see.
So, the balloons start going in the air and you just hear people clapping and cheering. I'm like, yo, that shit is remarkable.
Yeah.
Like, because you see them from up close and it's really impressive. You see the fire blowing in the balloons and all that stuff.
And they're all different characters,
It's all
right?
different characters. It was like 30 different balloons going up. So at first, Nori wasn't really like enthused by it, but then she started seeing more and more and more. She started waving and having a fucking photo shoot. So
cute.
you know, it was that stuff gets to me. You know, I'm over here having.
Those are memories, though. Those are moments. And I think, how old is she? She's like 2?
She's going to be 2 on Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday. Sorry.
Well, happy early birthday to Nori. But I think stuff like that, those are little imprints in your memory as a child that you remember. Like when she's, I want to say like in her 20s, she may not remember the details, but if she saw a picture, she'd be like, oh yeah, I have like a big memory of being there. So
right. And if she's anything like Jaden, that boy got like a photographic memory, so he remembers everything. So
he remember when he was born?
Probably. Like I've never seen nothing like it. Like I told him today, I'm like, I can't lie to you because you're gonna remember it. So I'm not gonna tell you nothing that ain't gonna happen. If I say it, my word is my bond, because I know that you're gonna hold.
He's gonna bring it up.
Yeah, and that was something I learned early on as a parent. Like these kids, you tell them something, they ain't gonna forget it. And I should have known that, because my grandmother had told me when we was kids, she would take us to Disney World. And granted, she never took us, and I'm not gonna hold her to that because, you know, it's my grandmother. You know, she done did so much for me. I'm not gonna penalize her for that.
Don't penalize your grandma.
Yeah, no. But at the same time, it's like maybe I'll take her to Disney World, and you know.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
I know, right? I'm the sweetest.
Yeah, no, but you're sweet, but that's not why I said that. So I'm thinking of just getting to that point when I can do nice stuff like that for my family, especially the people who were vital in my upbringing. So like my father, my mom, my grandma, my aunt. Like I want to just be like, yo, I'm booking a trip for us. Just pack your bags and let's go. And
you just did your lottery ticket, so you finna win.
I'm finna win $1 billion.
Because I spoke it into existence. So we're all going to Disney. You know what I mean? I don't
want to go to Disney. I want to
I take you.
I never, but yeah, I heard Disney's expensive. Okay,
you got it
right. I'm gonna have it, right. So I have to. Okay. That's dope. Can't wait. All right. Well, that was a pretty nice check-in. So we're just going to get right into our first topic, which was something we kind of talked about on Friday after we recorded another podcast. Shout out to the You Go Boy podcast. We were on there last week, and the date of release is still to be announced. But once it's out, we'll post the link and all that, and you know, because it was a good time.
It was a great time. And it allowed me and Dana to kind of be a little bit less structured,
because we did a podcast before, right? We did the
Educated Brothers
podcast.
Okay, we getting it.
But this was when we first started podcasting, like last year. So we didn't really. Like we were good at it, and the conversation definitely flowed. But now that we are at almost 50 episodes for our podcast, doing another podcast just seemed more
natural,
fun, and natural.
And I think we starting to click more as a tandem where we can play off of each other. It doesn't come off forced. It doesn't come off like we're trying to be funny or nothing like that. Like, no, this is authentically Dana and Aaron. So it was a good experience for us. We want to do more. We want to see more. We want to explore more.
We will do more.
And
manifest.
You know, shout out to him for seeing a vision, you know, because he clearly watched the show. And he brought elements of us to the show. He asked questions directly about us.
That was related to our show, which I was surprised about. So, yeah. That's dope, Hugo. We appreciate you for that. But after we recorded, we were about to head out. And how did this conversation come about? Because we were in the parking lot. It was me, Aaron, and Hugo.
Something about baby mothers.
I don't know. So the topic is accountability, but specifically in women. So before we get started, though, I want to say a disclaimer where accountability can go both ways, right? Like it's man and woman, like it's very generalized. But we do feel like in today's society, when it does come down to pointing the fingers, especially in relationships or with baby moms, baby father situations, it's usually just the dad's fault for most stuff. So our take was just like, well, how come when it comes to the woman, there's usually no accountability as far as, you know, you going through with a pregnancy that someone specifically said they don't want to be there for. And then also like you not learning your lesson after the first baby, then having another baby by that same said person who isn't accountable. So what are your thoughts on that, Aaron?
I told them that night that it's all bad pussy management. And I think
I didn't want to call it that.
That's what I call it.
Okay.
As a woman, you possess so much power over life, power to control what happens. Granted, it is circumstances and situations because people will come and they will tell us, oh, this person might have got this or that. And sexual assault, I get it. We're not trying to be insensitive.
We're not talking about, okay, what rhymes with rape victims. Okay, sorry.
Yes. So what it boils down to is, if you are putting yourself into these situations with men that you know aren't showing positive traits, they're showing red flags, they're showing toxic traits.
They're showing they can't be dependable.
And I don't see why y'all don't take more fault. Not y'all as in Dana,
Please
but
don't
women.
Generalize
Yes.
to me.
Women, for the most part, don't necessarily take all the fault when it comes to that. Granted, they deal with the real life repercussions of their decisions with the men that they have babies with that aren't present, with their children who don't have a total family nuclear experience.
But this is all like after the fact. So I'm going to speak from my perspective, because that night I did have a lot of strong opinions, but they're not going to be too strong on this episode. So my thing with this situation is me being a woman, right? Like me being able to carry, like to be childbearing and all of that. I feel like for me, I hold myself to a very high standard, not based off other people. This is solely just me, right? Like, I think once you have that trait where you don't want to see yourself in a low vibrational, low frequency situation, that's like a mental lifestyle that you start to really abide by, at least for me. So yes, I understand sometimes there are situations where you slip up, right? And there are other contraceptives which you can do, which is the Plan B. There is also other abortion pills. And then there's the full-on abortion when, you do terminate a pregnancy.
And adoption.
In adoption, exactly. Like there are multiple options if you do want to go through with the pregnancy. But I feel like, and this is all personal opinions, but I feel like there are times where there are some women out there where they will continue to just go through with a pregnancy to either hold on to a man in that capacity, however that looks, or a lot of different selfish reasons. Whether it's them not having a father figure in their house, right? So they're yearning for that love, someone to like really like give them that unconditional love, regardless of what that looks like. And there are situations where it can be beneficial for the woman, right? It can change them in all different ways, make them a better person. And that's actually something that Zalianne said, where like her kids kind of just like made her feel, like whole, not whole, but like they just made her like go harder. 'Cause she was already a great entrepreneur woman, but like her kids just like made her like keep going. So those are the best case scenarios. But there are other case scenarios where the selfish reasons just take over, right? And then you're kind of just bringing this child into a situation where like you can't take care of yourself, right? You have someone who literally tells you that they don't want to be in this baby's life at all, but you continue to just, in a selfish way, keep the baby and kind of utilize it as a way to control someone, right?
You're not getting no argument out of me.
But these are all things that I feel like are real. Like these are all realistic scenarios. And I feel like, when does it get to a point where now you're looking at your decision making and how your decision making has shaped your future and the future of your future child? So my thing is, it's like you do just have to think about these things that you're doing and how it's affecting like society,
the future.
Yeah, there's just so many things that like, I don't know, like I just feel like we do gotta start looking within and be like, okay, when do I start owning up to the shit that I'm doing?
But this is also why we talked about a few weeks ago about sexual maturity and understanding when we should be doing these things and having the autonomy to make these type of decisions. These are not just decisions for yourself. These are decisions for other lives. These are decisions for the men involved, the families involved. How many grandmothers out here are raising kids that aren't even theirs because we make poor decisions?
Yeah.
And again, it's not just the women. It's
and we're not talking
also
about if the grandma, like, if she's there to help out, right? Because that's different. Like, sometimes it is a village that can raise a family.
Because that's also a burden on others when you don't necessarily have your ducks in a row. Like, when you have a child, it should require planning, right? It shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm pregnant, we got to figure it out. Too many people say that.
Yeah.
Like, you need to sit down, you need to have actual decisions to make.
Yeah, actionable things that can, like, put you and your child in a better position. Because I feel like planning, and yes, granted, not every pregnancy is planned, right? For the most part, they're not. But it does come down to, like, okay, when can we as a group, as a collective, take accountability and say, okay, well, we know you're pregnant, right? We know that this is going to require more money, better financial standing. So, like, what's next? So I think, like, having those kind of thoughts and even just having the conversation is better than, like, all right, I'm pregnant, like, let me see what happens. Because I don't think it's an age thing either. I think for the most part, it is a maturity thing where you're not thinking for self. And most times, sometimes, not all times, but sometimes it is until the baby is born for the person to really, like, now analyze their situation and stuff like that. But as long as you're doing it is my thing.
So I asked this question on Twitter a couple months back, and I didn't get too many responses on it. And I was getting views on the tweet. And I asked,
people were seeing it.
They were seeing it. So I asked the people, I said, what made you have a baby with your baby father? And the reason
we're solely saying baby father, not husband, boyfriend.
There's a reason that I worded it that way, right? Because it's a lot of baby fathers out there. There's a lot of baby mothers out there. What made you say, okay, he's acceptable? Like, did you walk this down and say, okay, this is going to be a guy that's going to be able to, change my child in an adequate enough way, keep things neat and tidy.
Like, you see a lot of characteristics in this man that you want for your child.
With children, like, do we know these things? And I don't think a lot of people go through that.
Nobody does that.
I know.
I don't want to say nobody, but some people don't do that.
I know for a fact, having a child with Nashima was easy for me. Because I've seen the way that she interacted with children. We've had time built into each other, and we understood. You
saw her nurturing qualities.
Yes, I've seen it. So it's like, it wouldn't be a question of, damn, I'm having a baby with her. Yeah, I need to go. Like, but if I needed to, I would have, because that's not a go. That's not a go for me. I'm not just going to have a baby with somebody because, all right, we're pregnant. Like, no, we have alternatives. We can figure things out. And I think people don't exercise that for whatever reason. I can't tell somebody to have an abortion. Can't tell somebody to get a plan B, right? It affects their periods.
That's the thing. We're not saying, you should do this. We're saying just be aware of your options,
and
like your decisions, mainly decision making. Because, like I said before, for me, because I do see, like, myself at a higher point, not just based off what society sees me, just for, like, my values and morals as a person. Like, I'm just more aware of, like, all right, if I do this, like, if I was to get pregnant today, like, who is this person that I'm having a child by? Like, do I feel like I can call them in the middle of the night and they'll be like, oh, what you need? Like, I'm coming over. And if none of the qualities of being dependable is in this person's, like, characteristics, then maybe you need to reevaluate, what you're doing.
All right, I got something unpopular to say. I can't justify the way that a lot of women have children, because I can't justify the way a lot of women have boyfriends and deal with men. I think a lot of women make poor decisions when it comes to getting to know men, getting to know them on a spiritual, mental, emotional level, aside from a physical level. And I think collectively we see that. This is why rates of marriage is going down. This is why more people are being a lot more involved in polygamous situations and being side.
I think that's two separate conversations.
I don't. I think
that
it
sounds
ties
like an outlier. Yeah, because when it comes to, like, the boyfriend thing, like, that I can agree with, because I don't even think, like, I know for a fact that most women, they put on those rose-colored glasses once they meet a person, and, like, they have a vibe that they really like, and they don't have the hard questions. And the regular conversations that I have, they're not necessarily hard.
So what's a hard question? So,
for example, I'm going to give you one. For example, when we were talking about in the last episode how, like, I had a few friends who would, like, talk to people who, like, I used to date or whatever. So one scenario was, because I do get down to, like, the nitty-gritty conversations, they ended up, like, the guy was telling me how, you know, he's still living at home. He's still trying to figure out what he wants to do for his future. And this was just, like, general conversation that I was having, like, text conversation. Because I don't like just texting, like, basic shit. So I'm asking about, like, yo, like, what do you do for work? And not just what you do for work, like, what are your plans, right? And not, like, 5-year plan, but just, like, no, but just, like, what are your plans for yourself? Which, to me, is basic. Because I have a plan for myself that I'm currently operating in now. So having this conversation with him, then a few months later, one of my friends starts telling me that she's talking to this guy as well. I already know that, like, she's kind of hitting me up as, like, oh, is it okay for me to talk to him? And I kind of give her the green light. But then I end up saying, I'm like, because I know she's super ambitious like me, I'm like, yeah, did you know that, like, he still lives at home? Just, like, little things that we said.
Oh, you hate it? I'm
not hating. Like, I'm that friend that I'm be like, yo, me and you we're similar. Like, I know your hustle. I know your ambition. So did this fit into what you're looking for? And then she was kind of like, oh, damn. Like, we didn't even talk about any of that. Like, I had no idea.
Because it's surface level shit.
And I don't want surface level conversation, but if I'm looking to date you or whatever case, like, I'm having these conversations, even if it's just talking, right? So she was like, oh no, I had no idea. But then it was like but I just want to use him for this. So that kind of, like, set the boundary in the sand to where she was like, no, I'm not looking that far into potentially having him to that point. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. But just based off that little inkling, I was like, it don't matter how smart you are. I don't think that determines the guy who you pick, right? Because that's two different things. You could be book smart, but to actually be smart with picking a partner is a separate thing. Because I don't know, like, for me, like, these deep conversations to other people may seem like too hard to even, like, bring up.
But where do you learn that? Like, who taught you how to navigate the space of dating to the point where you're making a quality decision? And what is a quality decision? Is it something that results in marriage? Is it something that results in fulfillment? Like, what is it?
To answer the first part of where did I learn that, I think it was based off different situations that I've seen in my family. So different women that I've seen, and they have experienced, like, the multiple baby daddy thing. Conversations that I've had with my grandma, conversations that I had with my mom of, like, picking these kind of caliber men, and not even just to talk to, but just, like, for a potential partner. Like, that's how I'm thinking, but it's not how I usually come off. At least I don't think so. Like, I don't really try to come off, like, out the gate, like, oh, so what's your plan for, like, your future? It's more so like, all right, we're having conversation, like, regular conversation. So now let's get deeper into the conversation. So I think it's that on top of, like, how I am as a conversationalist as well.
Okay. I hope that these women out here are being a little bit more patient. And I hope the men out here are being a lot
I think
more selective.
Patience is really, like, something you don't get nowadays. Like, patience as far as getting to know someone, because that was something that we talked about before, like, the importance of friendship, right? And not, like, I don't even say you want to put pressure on it, but, like, there's pressure, but there's not pressure. And there's expectations, but there's not expectations. Because for me, I remember it was a couple months ago, I was dating somebody, and, like, it was real casual, but they would plan things in advance. They'll be like, oh, are you available on Saturday or Sunday? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm available. So then they would be like, all right, well, I'm going to make reservations here. And then the date came, and I didn't hear from the person at all. And then the next day, they started texting me, like, real regular, like, we didn't actually have a date planned the day before. So that happened, like, twice. And it got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm not, like, I don't have nothing to say. Because for me, it's, like, a respect thing, number one. And number two, it comes off as, like, you're not dependable.
And it comes off like I'm not a priority.
Exactly.
And that's the thing about dating in 2023 is if you're dating multiple people, sometimes people aren't prioritized. And everyone might not feel it, but if you do feel it, it's like, I fall back off of that. Like,
Exactly.
You can have your options.
And you can't keep giving someone a chance. Because if they show you that you're not a priority in their lives, why are you constantly making time for them when they're not making time for you?
What are signs of being a priority?
Signs of being a priority is everyone's busy, number one. Like for me, like I always say, like I got this going on. So like let me know in advance if we're going to do something together, like do a date. So priority for me is kind of like, I'm going to say from my perspective, like fuck everything else. But from my perspective, like I make time for the date. Like I move things around in order for me to like have time with this other person.
I think also how you communicate is a priority. Like, it don't have to be good mornings and good nights.
I like good mornings and good nights.
But I think a lot of people do also. Showing me that I'm thought of, showing me that I'm considered is definitely important. If you aren't doing that, like, and on both
what
sides.
does that mean to you? Like, how does someone show you that you're thought of?
Just paying attention to the things that I like and the things that I do. If you know that work is stressful for me, are you going to give me remedies to de-stress me, get my mind off of work? Are you going to cater to my likes and interests in small moments? It doesn't have to be big things. I'm not telling you to fly me out to Miami so I can watch a Dolphins game, right? I don't need you to do all that. I mean, if you want to, WOAWpie@gmail.com.
Okay.
But no, you don't have to do big things. And I think I was actually talking to my sis the other day, and she was telling me like, yo, I done been to so many fine dining restaurants and so many just amazing things. But when's the last time I had a picnic? When's the last time somebody just did something for me out of the kindness of their heart without flaunting and showing off their money and doing all this extravagant shit? That
reminds me of a date I recently had over the weekend, and it was to a drive-in theater in Brooklyn, and it was so dope. Like it was.
I be trying to tell you,
it
the
was
money
thoughtful.
Don't matter.
No, it was thoughtful, and I asked him. I was like, "How much does this cost?" He was like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay," but it wasn't even just about that, because I've been to so many like dinners, right? And it's like a nice restaurant, nice ambiance. Like that's always a vibe, but it's very generic if you think about it, right?
I never recommend dinner for a first date.
Yeah, like do an activity or something.
Get your hair down, sweat a little bit, and then go to dinner, obviously. So
yeah, get something to eat, right?
But like you need to see somebody a little uncomfortable, right? Not to the point where you're like, let's go skydiving.
No, but it would be something that y'all both have in common. Like with the drive-in movie theater, like I like watching movies, he liked watching movies. In the summertime, we both like going to the city, so
I was like, AC was kicking though, cause
no, it got cool. It actually got to like 70 degrees that night, so it was kind of chilly. But just like the thought of it, to me, I was like, damn, like this is something that is out of the box. That I've been to a drive-through movie theater, drive-in, but it was on some like, it was like a black and white movie in like upstate PA. It was kind of whack, but yeah, we saw the newest.
PA, is that a thing?
Not upstate, but like North PA, whatever. But it was the new Mission Impossible movie that came out that we saw. And the shit was long. It was like 3 hours. But nonetheless, because I was with someone who I genuinely like spending time with, it seemed like it was a quick date.
And those are important attributes, right? Like time stops when you actually enjoying yourself. Like you look back at it and be like, yo, oh shit, it's 12 o'clock.
It literally was 12 o'clock.
And that's the type of time that you should be on when you're spending time with somebody of interest.
Yeah.
When you are looking at your phone and when you are distractible and all those kind of things. And don't get me wrong.
Don't even go there with.
I'm a distractible person. So I'm not going to act like I'm the most perfect person in the world where I'm absolved from it.
Yeah.
But it's like moments like that are moments that stand out.
It's kind of like time stops, right? But it doesn't really, because it goes fast when you're with someone that you genuinely like. So.
But you said something really important. It was about money to me, and it's just, I know we're talking about accountability in women and also accountability when it comes to men.
Yeah, we're talking about both guys. Remember,
I do think in today's society we like to talk toxic masculinity a lot, and a lot of men get the short end of the stick when it comes to like toxic masculinity.
What is toxic masculinity? I can't even say it.
Toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity mean to you?
To me, it means that and I'm going to spin the definition a little bit, it means that a man can't actually be the man that he seeks out to be because of his own circumstances and situations, not what society deems toxic masculinity.
Okay, that's different than what I thought.
Yes, I don't see it that same way because the boys will be boys mantra and attitude. I can understand why that like makes people uncomfortable, but that's an anomaly. I think every man doesn't behave like that, but I do believe every man wants to strive to be the man that their parents contributed to, or that viewpoint of what a man should be. And when we can't get that, that's the most toxic form of masculinity you can find.
So what is something that you feel like would stand in the way of getting to that point?
Financial situations, first and foremost. Like, if I can't do for my family or my girl or the people around me in a financial situation, I feel sick. And if you ask a lot of men, they're going to say the same thing. A lot of men are like that. My brother's like that. They're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, he goes ghost.
It's like, I'm not good. Like, I can't do what I want to do.
Y'all really like fall into depression, and you see it.
And I think that is what we should look at as toxic, because we literally go into a hole because we trying to fight and scratch and claw.
Where does that start? Does that start from childhood? Okay.
From day one, like, we always were taught strength, perseverance, provide, protect, all those things.
I think it's the provide piece. Like, the provide piece is key. I would say from my family's perspective, because I mentioned a couple episodes ago how my dad's father left him when he was like a preteen. So he was like the oldest son in the house. So my dad has two siblings, but he was the oldest guy. So he did have to go out and work and provide for the household and kind of help out, because his older sister did go to school and stuff. So he had to learn that real young. And he's kind of like that now, where like he's about to be 60 next year, and he's still like grinding, working like 12 to 18 hour shifts. So like I see it, but to me, like being his daughter, for me that's like motivation for me to like go harder with what I'm doing in order to at least alleviate that stress, which just be like, oh, here's some money for your bill, or like what do you need help paying off, and then just be there for him.
I don't want to say this in a rude way, but you don't think that kind of offends him?
So I don't think it offends him. I think for him, it's more so like, oh, you care about me. Because whenever his birthday or like Father's Day or something came up, I would either ask him like, what do you need? And I'll get it for you. Whether it's slippers, a wallet. Recently, his birthday passed, so I got him like a bunch of sports shirts and stuff.
We know you bad with gifting to men, so.
No, I'm actually, chill out, okay? Like, I'm at a point where like, I'll get you a gift card or I'll ask you, what do you need? Either way, like for my dad, it works for him. So he actually told me one time, he was like, yeah, you're the only person who like really like thinks of me and like gets me stuff. So, and there's been other situations where like, and I know he truly didn't want to ask, but he would ask me like, hey, like, can you give me like a couple dollars for like this, that, and the third, which I was always more than happy to help. But because like I've seen it my whole life where like he's taking care of like the household and like the only person who's really like grinding for real, like I always wanted, that was like another like motivation factor for me to just be like, I can't wait till I get to that point where I can just really help him financially in the way that he really can benefit from, so he doesn't have to work so hard as he is now, because he's literally about to be 60 years old. But
I also think a lot of men like working. Like, I didn't realize that I really liked working.
Because I think because you're programmed to, right?
I don't even
think that's a part of it.
I don't think it's necessarily a programming for me. I just think I like getting shit done. I like being in the office, grinding, doing what I got to do. I'm willing to put in 16 hours happily. It don't even have to pay me overtime or nothing. Like, I kind of want to do it. The detriment, though, is that keeps you out the house. It keeps you away from the kids. And it's like, I'm having fun. Like, I enjoy doing this. I would
say just the difference between like you and my dad. Like my dad, he's pushing 60. So he's been doing it his whole life. So I'm sure in the beginning it was like that, where the motivating factor was, all right, I got a family to feed. I got like babies now. So it's easier when you're young and you have that stamina. But as you get older and you're still working those same long ass hours as you were like in your 30s, yeah, you don't want to do that shit until like you literally drop dead. So
I don't know, Dana. I work with a lot of older people these days.
Well, I've had these conversations with my dad.
Yeah, no,
so
I
don't know about everybody else, but like for my dad specifically, I know he doesn't want to do that forever.
When I see older people, men and women, when I see older people work, they fucking work. Like, it is honestly one of the most remarkable things. Just watching, like when I was at my old store, I had this woman. She had to be like 78 years old, and she will run you out of the building because she's just that dedicated.
Yeah, there are some older people, because I have a coworker. I believe she's in her 50s, and she's about to retire too. There are some who there's multiple scenarios. So one where the person who's about to retire, they can't just stop working because they can't afford it, right? And they still have a family that they need to provide for. And two, it's like when you're older and like all your children are grown, all of them are out the house. Let's say you're either divorced or you never got married or whatever the case may be, and it's just you. You have free time. So you kind of fill that time with things which is working, because that's how the woman that I work with, why she works still. And she was supposed to retire like 4 times at this point, but she was kind of like, well, I don't want to, because like what else I'm gonna do?
Yeah, that's what my grandmother, she was like that. We had to like drag her out of the office.
Yeah.
'Cause she liked to work. Like my grandfather, he liked to work.
And you're around like different people that you've built relationships with, like your co-workers. They literally become family in different scenarios.
Yeah, but that's why when I hear like people say like certain people are lazy and different things like that, like I don't think laziness is what it is. I think people don't be motivated, right? You put certain people in certain situations, you're gonna see what they're made of. Like, no, you're probably not going to be the best retail worker if you don't have a passion for working in retail.
Right.
You're probably not going to be the best engineer I don't care if you're the smartest engineer in the world. If you're not passionate about it,
some people are bored.
It don't matter.
Yeah. Like it could be boredom too, because just in my job work environment, like I've seen people who are like smart as fuck and they kind of get shit done like really quickly, but that's the thing, they get stuff done really quickly. It's kind of like when kids are in school, right?
That was me.
Yeah, that's the what is the analogy, where they're getting all their work done because they're smart as fuck, but like the behavior issue comes where they finish all their work and now they don't have anything to do. So now they're disrupting the class. Yeah, they're disrupting the class. So that's kind of how it is like at work. And you may need another job where like maybe try to talk to your manager and say like, hey, like, is there something else that I could be a part of, like a special project? Because, you know, we love those. So. Yeah,
and I was an accounting major when I went to Kane. And when I transferred to St. Peter's, I took up accounting again because I was just good at it. Like, it was easy. Like, and I'm not even like the mathematician type of dude, but accounting to me was just simple. Like, I got 100s on the test. Everyone's asking me to help them study and tutor and do all this stuff. But deep down, I was bored as fuck. Like,
with numbers?
Just accounting in general. Like, it just wasn't enjoyable for me.
This shit is boring.
But if I wanted to make it a career, I think it would have been an easy career for me. But at the same time, would I have been fulfilled? Would my passions be expressed?
Yeah, because it's not a lot of people facing. Like, it's literally just numbers and balance sheets.
Yeah. And I think that's the important part, right? Like, we don't just, as men and as women, we don't just want to just make money. Even the people that's making the most money, like, it's not as fulfilling to just have money versus doing something you love to get it. Dana wants to be a phenomenal day trader, right? We're manifesting that. It's going to be a lot more passionate for her to see her successes. Yeah. Then it just came like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this on the side.
And even for me, because today was the
she's smiling when she's talking about it.
Because that's my shit now. I'm not even going to lie. Today was my first official day trading. And I just broke even, meaning I didn't really make money or lose money, which is solely just day trades. My swing trades, which are like 2 to 3 weeks out, like that's making money.
I don't know when that shit.
Yeah, but like just the fact that the stuff that I've learned, I'm literally applying it, and I'm seeing like, yo, I'm kind of good at this. Like little things that I'm doing. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, like little things that I'm doing.
You see that?
Yeah, but it just gives you that kind of like that solidification that this is something that I should be doing because I'm getting it. It's not hard. Like, I'm not overthinking stuff. I'm also reading a book called Trading Within the Zone by Mark Douglas. Really good. It's kind of like a life lessons book where you talk about different decisions that you make from a child up until now and how they do shape you as a person, and you bring that to trading. So with trading, you got to be like very confident in your plays and when you get in and out of a trade. So they call it like entry and exit. So you just have to be confident in that. So it all starts actually from like your personal life.
What decisions from your childhood would you say contributed to your future in day trading? Because you've been reading a book, so I hope you was doing some.
I'm on chapter 8.
Okay.
There's like 20-some chapters. But for me, right, so just where I'm at right now, like where I'm at mentally, and I feel like I've done a lot of the work as far as like reflecting and just being more sure of who I am as a person. I'm turning 30 next year. So I think I'm really proud of the woman that I've grown into and that I'm continuing to grow into. And I am taking that into trading because I feel like I'm not second guessing, entering something or like being like, maybe I should wait, maybe I should hold off. I'm like, nah, if this is how I feel, if this is the indicators are there, why wait? Like, why not? And then if I'm in a trade and I'm noticing that the stock price is going down, and don't put your emotions in it. Don't be like, it's going to go back up. It's going to go back up. But if you see the indicators, it's like, no, get out now before you lose more money. So stuff like that, it kind of like mirrors my personality and just, again, like reassures me to tell me that, all right, I'm on the right track. Like the stuff that I've been doing spiritually, it's just, I don't know, it just feels good.
And for me to answer that same question, I think I look back at my childhood and I'm trying not to distance myself from it. I think a lot of people, we want to grow up and we want to like not be that person that we used to be. I want to grow into that person I used to be, that child that didn't think so much. I like to just have a natural sense of just running through a brick wall, doing whatever I can for my team, whatever role that I'm being put in. That's where I'm going to be successful in life. Okay. Because I'm starting to realize, like, just being a boss, people don't respond if you ain't willing to do what they got to do. I need to make sure that they see me on the front line. Yeah,
because it sucks to have a boss where
that just want to sit in office all day.
Oh,
nobody likes that.
Yeah, and then I've experienced a boss where like you ask them things like because you're coming to them for help, right? Like whenever you're trying to ask your boss for something, it's because, at least for me, like I have exhausted all of the solutions. So I'm coming to my superior for like second opinions and stuff. But I've experienced a boss where they'll literally tell you to do everything you just did, and then it'll be like, oh, isolate the problem. Like, try this, and this, without them actually being hands-on and be like, oh, let me come over, let me take a look, let me, see if you missed something. So I can agree where if, like, you don't have a boss where they can kind of come down to your level and be of assistance, it's really not that helpful.
Yeah, I call it the George Washington approach. I know we always talk history and shit. And him as a general, the difference, I think DP might have actually said this when we were talking about it on the podcast. Him being on the front lines, most of the time as a general, you're not supposed to fight in a war. The general's supposed to sit on their horse. They're supposed to either wave the flag and
give orders
and retreat or give orders. But he jumped into battles. And that gave them the advantage, right? Because they had somebody that's willing to see things from different perspectives, put their boots on the ground and fight with them.
And it gives them motivation to go harder.
So that's what I want throughout my future, even when it comes to parenting. Like, I don't want my son to go through things that I didn't go through. I can show him the reasons why we're doing certain things because of my experiences. Same goes for my daughter. Even if it's things that I haven't experienced because she's a girl and I'm a guy, I'm going to put myself out there.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I think as a father, you can only guide and advise, right? Like, you would just hope the lessons and things that you've taught them will just give them a better point to make better decisions. To go back to that conversation, right? Decision making. It does usually come down to like, well, how was my parent in these decision making process? Like, how were they able to give me the lessons without being like super strict and me wanting to go against the grain instead of being like, all right, let me use that as guidance to make better decisions.
Yeah, and women, better pussy management, make better decisions.
Of course, you gotta say that.
I think it's a great point.
It is a great point. Like, it all circles back to you as a person. Yes. Like, that's the moral of the story, is take accountability for yourself and not just blame everyone else, looking in and like never be like, oh, actually maybe I should have never did this and this.
Yes, and it's also very attractive. You know, accountability is a cute ability. So, you know, coin that. You know, that's my thing.
Yeah. You should get a shirt.
I should, right.
Accountability is a cute ability.
Yeah.
That could be the title.
It could be. You know, that might be a little obtuse, but I'm not sure.
It could work.
Never mind.
It could work.
It's all good. But
it's a geometry reference. Yeah, geometry was my shit.
Look at you. You must have sucked in algebra then.
How you know?
Because they said everybody that's good in geometry.
I was great in geometry.
I sucked in algebra.
That was my shit. I love geometry.
I got a 0.5 in algebra. But what algebra and geometry reminds me of is high school. And what right now reminds me of is how long ago it's been since I graduated from high school.
How long has it been for you?
16 years.
Damn,
right?
Mine was 11.
Okay, you just had your reunion last year?
No, my schools didn't have a reunion. At least if they did.
The student's supposed to do it.
Oh, I thought it was like a school announcement or something.
No, y'all do your own reunion.
No one had it.
Oh, y'all must not like each other.
That I didn't know of.
But one of the friends to the pod, rapper by the name of Brandon Tariq. Shout out to Brandon. He had a video release party on Friday of last week, and I realized this day. I know we talked about being washed before, but mostly we talked about it like from a physical perspective, like going to sleep early, you know, not really having the energy to be out all night. But I think I'm officially socially washed too. Like I couldn't play the scene. I couldn't make friends.
Okay, because we kind of talked about this outside of the pod where you said everyone was like clicked up, right? Like whoever they came with, they was kind of just stuck with. And I think that's kind of a detriment, especially when you go to like social stuff like that where it's like a backyard thing or whatever, because I kind of felt like that. I think it was like probably like 2 to 3 years ago. I was with someone and they invited me to it was like a cookout that one of their friends had. I didn't know nobody. So initially I kind of just stuck with that person because I'm like, you know, like I don't know, like I just wasn't in that space to socialize. But then they had like games and stuff. So they had like Uno and like real like, you know, like the regular games.
We need icebreakers.
Yeah, it kind of was like an icebreaker where you had to like be on team. So I was like, oh, I want to play. And then once I did that, it was just like me with the girls talking with them, and everybody else, like all the boyfriends were together. So yeah, I think games help. Yeah,
I'm real good when it comes to bringing people together. But if I'm not the host and I'm not trying to overstay my welcome, you know, I felt like I didn't want to just jump in like, hey, everybody, let's take shots.
Was it because you came late?
I probably, by the time I got there, they had got out the pool because it was thundering and lightning and shit. So I was trying to get everybody back in the pool, but nobody wanted to get in the pool.
Did you get in the pool?
I ain't getting in the pool. I wasn't about to be the only one.
Yeah.
But like, oh, look at this. That old probably would have been swimming.
That probably would have been the icebreaker.
No, the only icebreaker was, and shout out to Brandon and Keith. We grew up with them. Their mom is like a super duper sweet woman, and she remembered me from when I was a kid. And I kind of felt bad that she kept talking to me, not in this way.
People probably saw and was like, oh, he's with his mom.
Like,
not like that, but like
the old nigga
they probably thought like you was the mom's friend.
Like, goddamn, I felt so weird. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like, well, you don't have gray hair, so
I do got a couple in my beard.
But it's not noticeable.
I know.
I got gray hair in my baby hairs.
And the Meek Mills.
No, and my actual baby hair is hanging out, and I would pluck them, but they kept growing back. So I think I'm gonna have to get to a point where I'm gonna dye my grays.
Nah, leave them alone.
No, I'm gonna dye them.
See, for men, it works. Women like salt and pepper on the men, so yeah, we good. I'm not concerned.
I probably like stopped dyeing them around probably 32.
I don't think it's a problem on a woman though. Maybe a younger.
Because I have a baby face.
Yeah, you'll be looking crazy.
So, because my aunt, like, she literally has her face did not age since she was like 25. Like, she doesn't have wrinkles or nothing, but she literally has like a salt and pepper rim around like her hair. So if she was to dye her hair, she would literally look 25, and she's like 47. Her birthday just came.
Happy
just
birthday,
past
auntie.
2. Yeah.
Nah, leave it.
Happy birthday, Nobi.
That's one in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, Dana is going to Arizona soon, and
yes.
I'm going.
Hopefully, I go in September.
I'm going somewhere also in September, and my happy hour moment, because this is what we talk about at the end of the pod, is we got a couple minutes. Then we got some news for y'all. So
we got some big news.
Some big news. But my happy hour moment is I'm going to an adults only all-inclusive cruise, Virgin Voyages. I'm really excited. I've been watching videos and everything.
I heard Virgin anything. Like even their planes and stuff is like, it's like top,
I don't really like Virgin.
high class. It's nice.
It's
not funny. Like, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways.
Yeah, we're just going to pass by that.
I like experience flights.
Anyways, so you're doing like the adults only cruise.
Yes,
no kids.
No kids. I've been on 3 cruises so far.
That's like my dream to go on a cruise. I've always heard great things about them.
Yeah, the kids, they be a little bit much. They don't really be in the way.
I'm not going on a kid one.
Yeah, most of them have kids, so you just got to make sure you nip that. They don't really be in a way. They be in their little camps and their little rooms and stuff. Adults usually do their own thing.
Okay.
My favorite part of the cruise is eating. I might gain
the
about
buffets.
10. Well, Virgin doesn't have a buffet actually. They have what's called the galley, or they have the restaurants where you got to set reservations and all this hot shit. But it's pretty much made to order. They do it so they don't emit waste. Because the buffets, you pretty much throwing all that food away. They throw a lot of
shit out, yeah.
So their thing is like, it's made to order. We got plenty of food. You just ask for it. It'll come to your table.
That's so fun. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to DR in Bahami, something.
You don't even know the name.
I don't know the name of the shit. But.
Well, for my 30th birthday, that's actually the plans, guys, is we're doing a 5-day cruise. Hopefully, I want to find one to the Virgin Islands because, I am from St. Croix. Stop laughing. That's true. My great-grandfather is from St. Croix. So
is that a U.S. Virgin Island or a British Virgin Island?
It's the U.S.
So you're American?
Either way. It's from St. Croix.
Yeah, but that makes you an American.
Okay.
You're not Caribbean.
That still counts.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does.
No, y'all don't speak patois and...
What do they speak then?
I don't know.
There's a lot of black people down there.
I got a bunch of homies from Virgin Islands, so I'll ask them.
Yeah, anyway, but that's the plans for my birthday. So I've decided I'll probably send stuff out, like invites around November. Just to give people enough time to get their money together.
If you could send it sooner than that, especially when it comes to cruises, like
because Christmas is coming up too. Okay, so I'll probably do it around like end of September.
Yeah, my first cruise,
October.
we planned it a year in advance. Like we paid for it and then we did the installments and everything.
Oh yeah, the packages.
Because it could be like $700 just for the cruise.
Yeah,
and
I don't know. Flights. I don't know the price because it's definitely gonna be a flight down to Florida. So okay, yeah.
I mean, you got options. You could go to Baltimore. You
no,
can go
I don't want to do that.
Why not?
Because I don't want to spend time traveling south. Like I just want to be down there.
Okay, fancy.
It's not fancy. I just want to do it that way.
My first cruise, we left out of Puerto Rico. So
you're talking about me. You was already.
I didn't know
there.
no better. This is my first like real flight.
Okay, but have you ever flown? Like, have you ever did a cruise outside of Baltimore?
I did a cruise outside of Baltimore, and I did a cruise outside of New York. Oh. No, I was outside of New York, if I'm not mistaken. No, matter of fact, I lied. It was Baltimore, Orlando, and Puerto Rico.
Okay. All right, yeah, so that's the plan. So as soon as I figure out all the details, I'll tell the people who are invited.
And I ain't going.
You're not going?
Nah.
All right, whatever. All right, well, guys, so before we get out of here, we want to just announce some changes that's happening. So it is the end of July, and we actually are going to be remote for all of August. So we're going to be on Zoom, and then we're also dropping on Saturdays instead of Wednesdays so that, you can watch it on the weekend.
And if you obviously want to join and be a consistent guest, not somebody that likes to flake like Frosted's.
Not the shades.
Make sure you hit up woawpod@gmail.com. Give us a heads up of what you want to talk about, what you want to bring to the table. We could talk whatever you want to talk about, but at the same time, we are me and Dana. So we want y'all to come on the show. We want y'all to have a good time, but we also want to make sure that we don't deal with inconsistency in 2024. We
tired of y'all guests who keep canceling, okay?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we got a business to run. And we care about this, and we care about the work that we do. We care about the audiences that we have and the audiences that we're trying to make. So if you want to be a part of this, be a part of it. I mean,
and don't be on no bullshit. because we beyond it. Yeah, that's funny. But
I was gonna get it, but she got it, so I fucked with it.
No, that's my thing. That's like my tagline. Yeah. All right.
Episode of the show. Where is that episode already?
It is. We already talked about that. All right, guys. Well, on that note, we outside and we out.
Maybe.